We'd like to call the meeting of the Shreveport City Council to order. We're going to ask that Councilman Jackson would do the prayer, and we're going to ask that Councilwoman Taylor would do the pledge.
Everybody bow their head. Gracious Father, we come to you today just to want to praise your name. We ask that you continue to bless this city, watch over this city. We ask that you remove this city of the violence that we're currently suffering. We ask that you touch our hearts, touch our minds. We ask that you bless this meeting. Let us walk in your will and not our own. We ask this and many other blessings in your daughter's son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Taylor. Present. Councilman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Talaferro.
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Butcher.
Here.
Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Green.
I'm here.
And Councilwoman Bowman. Present.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of December 31st, 2022 Administrative Conference and City Council combined meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Taylor,
Second.
second by Councilman Jackson. Are there any
Discussion.
questions or comments?
Discussion. Did what Mr. Settle bring up, has this been corrected in there, or?
He's just referring to the first meeting. right?
Okay, to the first meeting,
Correct.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Where do we file it? I'm signed in, but I'm not getting anything to vote.
You can just tell me your vote. Is it- And Councilman Brooks.
Can you?
Is it a yay vote? Okay, thank you. And that passes with 7 votes.
Thank you.
That passes with 7? Yes.
Yes. Madam Clerk, would you read Amendment 1 to the December 31st, 2022 organizational minutes?
Yes, the organizational minutes were published without the time of adjournment of the first meeting, and so the amendment does correct that error. It originally adjourned at 12:10 p.m.
Is there a motion to approve the amendment? Moved by Councilwoman Taylor,
Second.
second by Councilman Jackson. Are there any questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
Still not showing for you?
Hey.
Councilman Butcher, is your-
He's at A.
I'm still not able to, I don't know what's going on.
The amendment passes with 7-0.
Thank you.
As amended.
And you still need to vote as amended. Vote on the minutes as amended.
At this
So
time, moved by Councilwoman Taylor, second by Councilman Jackson. Motion on the amendment. Motion as amended. Yes.
Councilman Butcher.
Yeah.
A, okay. And that passes with a 7-0 vote.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see.
Does any council member have any awards recognition of distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to extend my sincerest condolences to the Hicks family. Pastor Clarence Hicks lost his wife, and I'd like to extend my condolences to them. I'd like to extend my condolences to the family of Renata Lewis, who was tragically killed on Saturday.
All right. Is Gary Norman in, is Gary? Councilwoman Bowman wanted to ask you some questions.
Good evening, how are you? I have a question. Can you update me on Pines Road and 70th, right in front of CVS?
In front of CVS. What, I guess I'm,
Yeah, it's a big.
They have the whole street, they have the whole street.
okay, I'm gonna have to get back with you on it and see,
Okay.
see what's going on with it then.
Okay, it's been down for a while. We did put detour signs, but I was just trying to get an update on it.
Okay, I will get it to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Mr.
ma'am.
Norman, while you're here,
Yes, ma'am.
can you reach out to DOTD and ask them to please clean from Monkhouse all the way to the 220 bridge? Apparently somebody has lost mattresses, covers, and all of those things, so it's an insurmountable amount of trash on the interstate. And I think it's one located around I-49 as well, another mattress. And if they could remove their couch off of the Lakeshore exit, I
Okay.
would greatly appreciate it.
We'll get it done. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Norman, before you leave, is there something that prevents people from, Xfinity from putting their lines underneath the city streets? I have a area in my district where the cable lines are going across the street into the neighbor's yard, and they said they couldn't dig under the city street without permission.
Okay. They can, is it just a cable drop going to a house?
Yeah, just the cable drop.
Yeah, I'm assuming, I mean, they can ask for permission to do it. I mean, they can bore streets and stuff, but there's nothing that we have that would prevent them from doing it, but I'm assuming it's probably a cost issue with them.
Okay, but I
If you
can
have-
send you something, you can give me something in writing, giving them permission to dig under the street.
Okay, that sounds good. You know what vendor it is? Is it
Xfinity.
Xfinity? Okay. All right, I will take care of it. Yes, sir. Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay if I read a statement?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Comments? Okay. As one of the newest members of the council, I always kind of like to establish what, my beliefs are, what my expectations are, and in the military, we call them rules of engagement. So I'd just like to say a couple of things here. Mr. Mayor, Council Chair, city staff, and members of the council. I'm very excited and I'm very optimistic to share this arena and service together with you for the betterment of those we serve, our citizens, who are also our employers. As we sit physically opposite from one another, I expect and I challenge each one of us that while we may represent 7 different city council districts, our focus should always be on becoming one city without boundaries of party, race, neighborhoods, or income, and look for common opportunities to do the job of government, providing services to enhance the quality of life for our citizens. Those who know me know that I believe what happens in District A affects who live in District G, and vice versa. We are too small of a city to act otherwise. It's about the spirit of this great city. And while I'm the liaison for the residents of District C, I am just as concerned about quality of life issues in every single district throughout Shreveport. If it's a concern of yours, it's a concern of mine. A quote from Harry S. Truman, and repeated by many others, says, "It's amazing what you can accomplish. If you don't care who gets the credit." Providing a stellar quality of life isn't something that just happens. It's a product of low crime, it's a product of cleanliness, it's a product of excellent city services, and it's a product of the pride that we feel in the city that we call home. The biggest difference between great cities and failing cities is that great cities do fundamentals right. The streets are paved, the lights are on, the water is clean, the bills are right, and our first responder and city services have the resources they need to perform their commitments to you. I also know from experience that if you let the small stuff go today, it turns into big stuff tomorrow. We will fix what we can fix, we'll do the basics well, and the simple things right, all with the spirit of excellence. To the citizens of Shreveport, I'm asking you to support your city by rekindling our pride of ownership, getting involved, staying engaged in your government, asking questions and demanding answers, and challenging us all to be servant leaders we promised you we'd be. And channeling John F. Kennedy here, the more you're able to do for your city, the more your city is going to be able to do for you and your neighbors. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council Chair, fellow council members, and to you, our citizens, for allowing me the privilege and honor to serve this great city of Shreveport. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Any other council member have any distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes? Mr. Mayor, do you have any awards or recognition of distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayor, do you have any other communication?
The only other communication that I have, Mr. Chairman, is your clerk will be reading a notice that is required. We have determined that there are some tax millages that expired at the end of 2022, need to be renewed in 2023, and we're going to be asking you to put those on the ballot in April. The notice that she will be reading has to do with the preliminaries for that, and at some point we'll need to have a special council meeting to meet the Secretary of State's deadlines, the Bond Commission's deadlines for placing that on the ballot in April, which is the earliest we can get it on the ballot.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Green related to relative to property standards?
Thank you for the outline of the sweeps that are going to be taking place for 2023.
Yes, we have. You should have received an email. We
Yes,
sent
sir.
out an email with all the updates.
Yes, I know that I wanted to look at that lakeside area that I briefly discussed with you, the area around Notre Dame. I know we have two sides that we can get together on next week to take a look at.
Okay, we'll do.
Thank you.
Also, on Crosby Street, there's a house at 6432 Crosby Street that need to be taken care of. We've been dealing with that for a while. I think you already got it.
Yeah, I talked with the young lady this morning.
Okay.
Mr. Harris, environmental court, is it operable?
Yes, the next court date is January 31st,
Okay.
9 o'clock.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Okay.
Does everyone receive their revenue collection plan or implementation report, finance? I think at this time there are no public hearing. Madam Clerk, we have some legislation to be added.
Yes, that is Resolution 3, an emergency resolution to recommend hiring a contractor to install cameras throughout the city of Shreveport as soon as possible to aid in the reduction and prevention of crime in the city.
Is there anyone present who would like to speak for or against this being added to the agenda?
Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass.
Good afternoon. Rudolph Glass, 1735 Arlington Avenue. I came down yesterday with Ms. Rogers and she spoke to you all. I wanted to add that the Ring cameras that the parish as well as the city has given out has helped in solving some crimes. But we need more. We have illegal dumping, which is one of the main things that we have in certain areas. One of the main things is that we have people that will come from other parts of the city and come to Lakeside, Allendale, Cooper Road, and other areas to do their illegal activities. So my request is to add it to the agenda, and please vote yes to have them installed. Thank you.
Anyone else for or against? Seeing none, is there a motion to add resolution number 3 to the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Taylor, second by, who was the second by?
Me.
Councilman Butcher. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I wanted to, just to reiterate the reason for going in and adding this legislation to the agenda. As you all well know, during the last week, we have had a surge of violence in the area. We had the unfortunate and untimely death of Miss Renata Lewis, who was killed so violently. A 4-year-old was shot in my district. You had people shot right by the library on Juella, another 16-year-old. You had individuals that were shot by the airport, along with several rounds that were, I'm gonna say, executed at Illinois projects, as we know them, Clear Horizons. With this surge of violence and some of the things that we see within our community, you may have individuals or businesses that may have cameras that may not be operable. That poses a problem, again, for the Shreveport Police Department. In some of the neighborhoods where these violent acts occur, you may have residents who are afraid at any given time to go and speak with the police for the fear of retaliation. I think technology, as we listened to Chief White say on yesterday, is much needed and is a vital force in going in and helping the Shreveport Police Department. I want to ensure the safety of our city, and this is a step in a mechanism that we need to take, that we're asking the mayor to go in and execute, to have contractors, whether it be through the bid process, to go and install the cameras. That funding has already been allocated for throughout the city of Shreveport. So it would enhance our real-time crime center. I do believe that we have very good employees in the real-time crime center. Those employees, but come inept in doing their job if they don't have the cameras that they need to witness in real time in order to catch those individuals who plague our city. I think that it is vital to any city to utilize the technology that has been set forth, for us all. Each and every day, we use our cell phones, we take pictures, we transfer that information, and there is not a city that is progressive or thriving that does not have cameras in its coffers. So with that being said, I am asking that the council would vote for this unanimously to put this on the agenda to ensure, again, the safety of our city. I don't want this to be a year where we're going, or I'm going to another site as I did on Saturday at Peach Street, because a 4-year-old was shot, or I have to go to another site within my district or any other district that I will support my colleagues in, whereas they are losing loved ones. So I'm asking at this particular point in time for the council's full support in getting this legislation added.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, let's vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today, we will hear public comments on agenda items only. Vice Chair will control the time and the individuals.
Sammy Mears. Happy New Year, Sammy.
Happy New Year. Okay, we'll stay there then. Sammy Mears, 1901 Centenary Boulevard, apartment M110, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101, and Happy New Year. Today I'm speaking on Resolution 9A-159. I think this is a really wonderful idea to see the resolution passed today on the agenda. If you would do this and start the new year off in a real good direction, it would really be great, because everyone will be happy, including Liz Swain. She's the downtown director, and she's been doing the very best that she can as downtown director, and I would just ask that this be voted on yes today.
Thank you, Sam. Mr. Mark?
I put before you a copy of a ticket. My name's Mark Medicus. I'm at 10455 Linwood.
Mr. Mark? Mr.
And-
Mark? Mr. Mark?
Yes,
I'm sorry, but it's not an agenda item.
This is not an agenda. item.
it
Yeah.
needs to be because it
It's not
represents a
today.
possibility of
It's
a class action lawsuit.
It's not today.
But it's
Okay.
not today, sir. You'll have to do that on our work session.
All right,
on
thank you.
Mondays. You're welcome. Craig Lee?
Craig Lee, 1112 Prospect, Shreveport, Louisiana. I just wanted to say welcome to the council and to the mayor. Hey, Craig. All right. Yeah, have a good one.
Craig, now you know that was not on the agenda.
Yes,
That's the shortest you've ever spoken.
So, okay. I was waiting for something else. Mr. Glass, you've already spoken what you need to speak to. That concludes our public comments.
Thank you. We have no executive appointments to consider today. There's no consent agenda legislation to be adopted today. Madam Clerk, would you proceed with regular agenda legislation?
Yes. Resolution 166 of 2021, a resolution in support of and establishing a tax increment financing district, a proposed public improvement district wholly within the city limits of the city of Shreveport.
I'm asking that, I make a motion that this will be postponed until March 28th, the last meeting in March.
Okay.
Moved by the chair, second by Councilwoman Taylor. Are there any questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
I can't see the votes. You can
Where are they?
call them out?
Oh, they're in back. I'm so used to looking up there.
Okay, thank you.
Resolution 155, authorizing the mayor to execute a cooperative purchasing agreement between the city of Shreveport and the city of New Orleans. And there is one amendment. The amendment corrects an error in paragraph 3 where it lists Adrian Perkins as the mayor. It now reads as Tom Arsenault.
So moved on the amendment.
Moved by Councilman Butcher on the amendment. Second by Councilman Jackson. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just, if these are these the Packers that we bought from Holmont?
Yes, sir.
So we're selling to them for the same price that we got them for?
Actually, no, we're
I
allowing,
mean,
we're
they're-
allowing New Orleans, we're
Right.
giving New Orleans permission to buy off that same bid.
That's what I thought I meant. I mean, New Orleans is buying them for the same price that we,
Yes, sir.
even after they came up here begging for more money.
That's right.
Hey, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll get it.
It passes with a 7-0 vote.
Thank you.
So moved on the ordinances, or resolution as amended.
Moved by Councilman Butcher, second by Councilman Jackson. On the ordinance as amended. Are there any questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
That passes with a 7-0 vote.
Resolution 158, authorizing an agreement between the city of Shreveport and Red River Bend LLC relative to the use of city-owned property.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Taylor,
Second.
second by Councilman Butcher. Are there any questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
Resolution 159, approving the 2023 Downtown Development Authority Program of Work.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Taylor.
Second.
Second by Councilman Talaferro. Are there any questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
That passes with a 7-0 vote.
Resolution 1, ratifying the authorization and provision for the waiver of permit, inspection, and other related fees for all trades for the construction repair of properties damaged during recent severe weather and tornadoes for all properties within the Pecan Farm subdivision located within the parish of Caddo.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Taylor, second by Councilman Butcher. Are there any questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
That passes with a 7-0 vote.
And Resolution 3, an emergency resolution to recommend hiring a contractor to install cameras throughout the city of Shreveport as soon as possible to aid in the reduction and prevention of crime in the city.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilwoman Taylor, second by Councilman Butcher. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add something just to kind of let you know where we stand now, so we can kind of put that in context with what this resolution does, which we support, by the way. I checked a little bit with the IT folks and with the police today. The police have given, the initial list was 75 first priority locations. I think we've got in the pipeline fairly soon about 65 of those. The second set of priorities that they're looking for are going to be the ones that we are the most likely to deal with under this resolution, to try to get them expedited, because it's taken way too long to get to where we are. But the list I saw of the first 75, quite often there was a reason based on activity in that area or where they were, places that the camera would be looking that had been a problem heretofore. And I asked Deputy Chief White, in the absence of Chief Smith today, to get started on that second list so we could get to work. They also want to go, I think, look at some similar example in Cleveland where they have a similar system. They got 1,800 cameras. We're not going there, I don't think, by any means, but we do want to see if we can learn from their program and get us going as quickly as we can using the tools that you're giving us in this resolution.
Thank you.
We also have the company that is here locally
Yes.
too, that you can converse with as well as they monitor the cameras in Lafayette.
What's the name of that company,
Louisiana.
ma'am?
Homeland
Homeland.
Safety.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Homeland Safety, and they do a very good job there. Trained retired eyes from law enforcement, if I'm not mistaken. But, and utilizing what we have here locally, I think is great as well. We had the opportunity to go and view what they were doing within the city of Lafayette, and what they're seeing in real time. And just as I said again, Mr. Dark, for the individuals that are already working there, and if they fall under the auspices of the Shreveport Police Department, I think that it only enhances that, allowing us to see things in real time, to give them additional tools that they need in order to remove these unwanted individuals off the street, to push that level of safety so we can attract what we need to attract here to grow our city.
We
So
agree
if
with
you
you.
all can go and give us a timeline of what you're looking at and any additional support that we would need to, then we are amenable to that as well. I don't think you would have any objections from the council on that.
We have identified a potential already appropriated source of funding to do some of this work, so I think we're on our way.
Okay, thank you. And some of us council members allocated some dollars for, and I think Ms. Creel can speak to that, when we did for illegal dumping with some of those cameras and placing in strategic places as well. And so we will get with Ms. Creel on that as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Actually, myself and Councilman Talaferro and the chief met with Homeland a while ago, probably about a month ago, and had a discussion about what they offer. And they also had a presentation, like Councilwoman Taylor said, here, I believe, didn't they? Didn't they
Yes.
come and show what they're doing in
Well,
Lafayette?
We had a presentation here, and then when we had a view when Councilman Bowman as well as Don Hobdy from Water and Sewer went over to their facility to go and view what it is that they have, because I don't think you were able to make that meeting,
Yeah.
that first meeting. And so their operation is amazing with what they have.
Thank you.
And what they're able to do
local,
for the
they're-
city of Lafayette and their local company.
They're local, and then the cameras, there's some specific things about the cameras now that have to meet certain government regulations because of China and Russia and all these different things, and they're well versed on that. So anyway, that's just a little bit of background on that, where y'all will know. But I'm 100% behind. Let's move as fast as possible. Also, reiterate the statement I made yesterday that I am not interested in cameras in areas that are not affected by crime as much as other areas. Other districts have a lot more crime than mine, and I would like for us to start in those areas. The only areas of my district that I could see would be areas that have a good bit of maybe around LSUS and commercial areas with a lot of foot traffic, but that's something that could come later. But I think we should focus on these areas that we know over and over again that we've been having violent crimes. So I'm 100% behind that.
Mr. Dark, I think that's the very premise of that with Homeland. What they did, their system wasn't out in the cloud. So the city would be able to establish their own network. Therefore, you wouldn't have that level of interruption of somebody, doing what they do when they think that they're smart in hacking systems.
I will say this, the list I saw this morning, I don't pretend in 11 days to be an expert on where crime is, but I recognize some of these from years ago. So they are the kind of places you would expect these cameras to be going.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
Just for the record, I seconded, and Councilwoman Taylor made the motion. I think it's backwards on the screen.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you proceed with introduction of resolutions not to be adopted prior to January 24, 2023?
Yes, Resolution 2, authorizing the mayor to execute a right-of-way and easement agreement for the construction of an oil and gas pipeline with Silver Hill Haynesville E&P LLC.
So move on introduction.
Any questions? Moved by Councilman Taylor, second by Councilman Jackson. Are there any questions or comments? These have been introduced. Madam Clerk, would you proceed with introduction of ordinance not to be adopted prior to January 24?
Ordinance 1, to revise Chapter 74, Solid Waste, Article 3, Regulations, Section 74-54 of the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Code of Ordinances relative to the disposal fee per ton of normal waste. Ordinance 2, zoning case number 22-219-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the north side of West 70th Street, approximately 2,850 feet west of Dinkins Drive, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, C4 Heavy Commercial Zoning District to I2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Taylor, second by Councilman Jackson. These items have been introduced. Are there any questions or comments on either one? Madam Clerk, would you proceed with ordinance on second reading and final passage?
Ordinance 135A, to repeal Ordinance 135 of 2022 and to readopt an ordinance changing the name of Red Fox Circle in the Moore Girls Circle subdivision in Section 25 to God's Country and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. And this has previously been postponed until February 14th.
Thank you.
Ordinance 220, amending Section 2-31 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Shreveport to provide for an increase in the salary of the mayor.
Is there a motion and a second? It dies.
Ordinance 221, amending Section 2-32 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Shreveport to provide for an increase in the salaries of the members of the City Council.
Is there a motion and a second? is dead along with that one.
Ordinance 222 to amend section 62-89 and to add a new section 62-93 to chapter 62, article 3, division 2 of the city of Shreveport, Louisiana Code of Ordinances relative to cash buyers at events held in city facilities.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Mateo, second by Councilman Jackson. Are there any questions or comments? If not, let's vote.
That passes with a 7-0 vote.
Madam Clerk, is there any table legislation to be removed from the table?
There is none.
Thank you. We have no property standards or ABO appeals to consider today. We have no MPC or ZBA appeals to consider. Are there any appeals, Madam Clerk?
No other appeals.
Are there any reports from officers, boards, and committees? Madam Clerk, is there a clerk's report?
Yes, I do have that public notice, and this is a notice of intent to call election. And it reads as follows. Notice is hereby given in accordance with section 19.1 of Title 42 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, that the City Council, acting as the governing authority of the City of Shreveport, State of Louisiana, at its special scheduled meeting on February 2nd, 2023, at its regular meeting place, Government Chambers of Government Plaza, 505 Travis Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, at 3:00 p.m., will discuss and consider adopting a resolution ordering and calling an election on April 29, 2023, to authorize the continuation of 6 existing ad valorem taxes on all property subject to taxation within the city for the purposes of improving, repairing, and maintaining the streets of the city, operating and supplying recreational facilities, and maintaining the same, continuing the salary and wage schedule of city employees, police and fire personnel, and allowance for uniforms and equipment for said departments, providing funds for the city's portion of pensions, employee life insurance, and hospitalization plan, and providing funds for the city's continuation and maintenance of a Police 3 platoon system upon approval by the qualified voters therein, and if passed, for such taxes to be levied thereafter.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, do you have any further communications?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Does any member of the council have any additional communication?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Just real quick, I want to recognize this council for what we just did about the raises for the council and the mayor. I just don't think that it's the right time for us to do this. I think at some point we're going to have to address it, but I think that should be with some long-range planning. But none of us would have been impacted by it. But I think that proves that this council is about doing business and getting the city back to the basics, and not giving ourselves a raise. So I just want to applaud the council for it being unanimous and not moving forward. Thank you.
Also on that note, I knew what I was going to get paid when I signed up for the job, so I'm good. Anyone else? Executive sessions, there are none. If there's nothing else to come before this body, in 5 seconds, we are adjourned.